waiting helps you, steers you to saying your best yes. I was on a podcast earlier with somebody, and I'm like, when you're not waiting, you're not asking yourself the hard questions on the front end. Now I am. I'm asking myself the hard questions. Like, would you sign the marriage contract? Is she everything you want? And I'm like, I can answer myself pretty honestly up front. When you're not waiting, you don't even ask yourself those questions. You're just looking at it from a superficial standpoint. And then next thing you know, you have sex and you get a soul tie and then you end up with the wrong person. That's what happens to people all the time.
I see it happen all the time. I will tell you that the relationship that I'm in right now, we are waiting. And so the dating is very different because there is time to really have different conversations. And it's almost like the time that is spent together is spent differently because we know that we're not showing up in a space to do that.
Yeah. And I think you said this before. It's almost like, you ever hear this? It's actually a fact. You stop maturing from the moment you start drinking.
Right.
Right. And the same is true in a relationship. You stop developing intimacy in that relationship from the moment you have sex.
Right.
So like, you're not really getting to know each other on a deep level, which honestly, and all the studies prove this, guys. You can actually look at it. I covered a lot of these in my book, but people that wait not only have better relationships, they have better sex lives.
Right.
They report like 20% higher sexual satisfaction in their relationships. It's the whole delayed gratification principle, like it's just a real principle that you can't get around, and it applies to every single thing in the world. If you put in some work on the front end, you get a payoff that's greater later.
So in the relationship that I'm in, he didn't even kiss me for over 2 weeks. And we had been out 6 different times. And it was really, I thought really even surprising, because there was just a tension that built up, a good tension, that it was almost like there were moments where you were almost there, but you didn't go there. It was like you were kind of getting a little bit closer, and
Yeah.
It just made you really sort of long for that moment in a different way. Whereas if you kissed on the first or the second date, none of that would have been there.
Right. No, it's good. I compare it to like Thanksgiving dinner. Imagine when you walk in the house and you smell that food and you're like, starving, like, give me a bologna sandwich. No, right? You would screw up the whole dinner if you did that. There is longing and pain in the wait, and you want that because it makes you appreciate it and sets you up for a successful marriage.